Peace, family. What's going on? It's your favorite foreclosure specialist, Jasser Ali, with Divergent Consumer Services. Back at you with more consumer rights education. And today we're going to be talking about the typical foreclosure process and what happens to most homeowners during the foreclosure process versus the process in which Divergent Consumer Services allow or help homeowners navigate the foreclosure process. Okay? Now, there's plenty of ways for somebody to be foreclosed on, right? You have a non-judicial foreclosure, you have a judicial foreclosure, you have tax liens foreclosure, you have water lien foreclosures. There's so many different ways that somebody can be foreclosed on. However, in this particular video, we're going to be talking about a judicial mortgage foreclosure process and what happens, right? So let's talk about it. You have consumer, life is great, finances is good, credit is great. They say, you know what, I'm tired of renting, I want to go ahead and buy me a home, right? So they go ahead, they purchase the home, right? They purchase the home. Everything is good. Got the grass out front, nice backyard and all that stuff, right? And then life hits them, right? Financial hardship, somebody done lost a job, divorce. There's plenty of reasons, medical reasons. They can't work no more because of medical reasons. All of that plays a factor as to, they come across this financial hardship. So now, they go from happy to sad because life ain't as good as it was at the beginning, right? And in this process, the bank says, you behind on your mortgage too much. We don't care if you're sick. We don't care if you got death in the family. We don't care if you're going through a divorce. We don't care about any of that. We just want what we want. You know what I mean? And we don't care if we put you out on the streets. So they go and file a foreclosure complaint with the court, because in a judicial mortgage foreclosure, they have to go to the courts in order to foreclose on the property completely, right? So, they foreclose on the house, or they file a complaint, right? Now, once they file the complaint, there's a couple ways a homeowner can deal with it. They can either, what most people do, walk away. So they go ahead and they just walk away from the house. They get a little bit more depressed. They just even more sad. So they sad now, they depressed. You know what I mean? Embarrassed, ashamed, scared. All right? Because they think they don't have any options, right? So, boom, this is one way to deal with it. They walk away, or they can go and they can try to get some help, right? They may not be completely sad, but, they neutral. Now, one way they can deal with it, right, is you have a homeowners foreclosure assistance program. Right, where they go to this organization, and this organization says, hey, we're going to try to do what we can do to keep you in your home by negotiating between you and the bank, right? However, that's not going to stop the bank from foreclosing. You still going to end up losing your home because 9 times out of 10, if you don't have, because real quick, once this happens, you have, financial instability once you lose employment. Your income decrease. You know what I mean? And when you have financial instability and the homeowner foreclosure assistance program is trying to negotiate something with the bank ain't gonna want to work with you because they can see that you're not capable of staying up on your payments. So you're gonna end up losing the home that way. Or you'll go ahead and hire an attorney because you say, hey, I gotta do something. I don't know what to do. Let me go to an expert on, helping people in court, which is, most of the time attorneys, right? But then you're gonna mess around and pay this attorney $1,000 a month for about 12 months, you know what I mean? And then you're gonna end up still losing your home. You feel me? So that's just a devastating way to go out when it comes to being in foreclosure. You know what I mean? Now, during this time, a homeowner is super stressed, you know what I mean, hypersensitive to everything. They can't think because they're trying to deal with the foreclosure and maintain and manage their day-to-day living. Okay? Let's not get into it if a person got children and things like that to take care of. It's hard to maintain. So, they stressed out, they're worried about being homeless, right? With foreclosure, your credit get hit because, you don't have on-time payments. So your credit score get dropped by like 100 points, right? Just for going into a foreclosure status. You know what I mean? And then 9 times out of 10, by the time you leave, if you're dealing with an attorney, you don't pay them $12,000, so you don't even have a savings because you done blew all your money on an attorney. But let us show you a different way. At Divergent Consumer Services, we're going to give you a step-by-step process that you can do on your own that will be life-changing. So we got my guy P, right? P hype, excited, go get a house, right? But he don't have $200,000-$300,000 sitting in the bank to go and get the house. So what he does is he say, hey, go to the bank. I need a mortgage. I'm trying to buy this house. It's $300,000. This is my income about $100,000. Credit is about 720, 750. What can I afford? The bank say, hey, with that type of income and credit, we can go ahead and pre-approve you for $300,000, right? $300K. We go ahead, give you this loan. But in order to give you this loan, right? You gotta sign what's called promissory note. And what this promissory note does, it describes and breaks down your monthly payments that you want to pay back to the bank to pay back this $300,000. Okay? So the bank say, all right, I will give you this loan. You sign this to promise to say that you're going to pay it back. But to make sure you just don't run off with the bank's money, the bank is going to say, hey, sign this mortgage. Or most people say, dead pledge. Right? You sign this mortgage. This mortgage is going to protect their interest in the property. Because what they do is they take this mortgage that you sign and then they go down to the recorder of deeds in your county and put it on public record where it clearly states that you're going to promise to pay back this amount of money, and if you don't, they can use this instrument to take the house and get their money back, right? So let's get back to it. You making your payments, everything is going great. Everything is flowing, monthly payments on time, and then life happens. Boom, pandemic. You lose your job, you know what I mean, or you get laid off, you know, your spouse got laid off, so now instead of having 2 incomes, you got 1 income. So many different situations that can be explained in that type of scenario. But let's just say you go ahead and you default, right? You default on your mortgage payment. And what that simply means is that you just failed to pay your mortgage payment on time. That's it. Okay? You default on your payment, and what that does is they say, hey, listen, you defaulted on your payment. I need you to get caught up. But you're in such a financial hole that you're not able to get caught up. Now, they say, you know what? I ain't got no other choice but to go ahead and take the mortgage instrument and go foreclose on the property. So what they do, they then go and file a complaint with the courts, right? They go file a complaint with the court and says, hey, this homeowner or this consumer promised to pay me back this certain amount of money a month, and they failed to do so. I done went through the requirements to try to get them to get caught up on their payments, and they just haven't gotten caught up. Right now, they owe us $320,000 because of interest and all that stuff, and we want a judgment for that amount. But in order to get the judgment, they have to do what's called service. They have to serve you with the complaint. Right? They serve you with the complaint, okay? And when they serve you with the complaint, they use it as a scare tactic, right? They go ahead, they get the sheriff to come out, hey, you know, drop it off at you. They got the uniform on, you know. It's like the law enforcement coming to drop something on you. They drop the bomb on you. And now you're terrified, you know. But like my guy P say, don't panic, plan it. And that's exactly what we're about to show you with the rest of this process. Now, once you get served with the complaint, you have something that's called the rules of civil procedure. Okay? Now, this is very important because a lot of people get confused when they hear rules of civil procedure. You know, a lot of people on YouTube talk about federal rules of civil procedure when it comes to foreclosures, and they need to get up in federal court and all that stuff. And it's like, nah, don't get caught up in all that confusion, okay? In most states, and just about all judicial states, foreclosures are governed by state rules of civil procedure, okay? State rules of civil procedure. So, depending on your state rules of civil procedure, you may have 30 days to file an answer. You go and you file an answer to the complaint, right? When you file an answer to the complaint in our program, you shut the bank down. You take complete control over the situation. And as we go through the process, I'm gonna show you how. Now, before we show you the rest of the process on how you took full control over the situation, we're going to show you what 80% of homeowners do when they get served with a complaint, right? So most homeowners, when they get served with a complaint, like we talked about earlier, they walk away or they do nothing, okay? When you don't file an answer to the complaint, the bank gets what's called a default judgment. And pretty much what a default judgment is saying is that, and let me tell you why they get a default judgment, okay? Not too long ago I mentioned judicial foreclosure processes are governed by state rules of civil procedures, right? Let's just say in Pennsylvania, for example, right? In Pennsylvania, under rules of civil procedure, a homeowner has 30 days to file an answer, right? When you fail to file an answer by the rules or according to the rules, the bank get an easy judgment. That's what default judgment pretty much means. That means you made it easy for them to get a judgment. You understand what I'm saying? So most homeowners fall into this bracket right here because they don't know what to do. They lack the resources, they lack the knowledge, they lack the mental capacity to even try to address it because they're so stressed out, right? Boom. They get the default judgment, which quickly expedites the sheriff sale, which then quickly expedites you being evicted or losing your home. This is what 80% of people go through by doing nothing, right? They make it easy for the bank. Now, let me break down how with our foreclosure navigation process with Divergent Consumer Services, we show you how to file an answer to the complaint. Now, this is the most powerful thing a homeowner can do when facing a judicial mortgage foreclosure. Because now you don't block the bank from getting a default judgment. You don't prevent them from getting an easy judgment against you. And you're forcing them to go through the entire foreclosure process. So this is how it goes. After you file the answer, the bank has to file what's called a reply to your answer. Now, sometimes your answer may have a counterclaim. Sometimes they may have what's called affirmative defenses. And then depending on your state, your affirmative defenses may also be called a new matter or something like that, right? So they got to file a response to that, okay? After they file a reply, here in Pennsylvania, you have to go what's called a case management conference. Case management conference, right? At the case management conference, both sides gets to express their arguments, their claims and arguments, right? And then based off of that information that's received at the conference, the court says, you know what? Let us go ahead and put in what's called a scheduling order, right? Scheduling order, okay? And what the scheduling order breaks down is discovery, how long you have to conduct discovery. Discovery is pretty much your opportunity to collect as much evidence and documentation as you can to, to prove your case, to prove your argument. So once you get the scheduling order, you got to go through discovery, right? And discovery is like request for admissions, request for production of documents, request for interrogatories, which is all laid out in the state rules of civil procedure, okay? So it's very important that we focus on paying attention to the state rules of civil procedure, right? So the scheduling order lays out discovery, deadlines for filing other motions like motion for summary judgment, potential trial dates, and things of that nature. So you go through discovery, and then after discovery, you file what's called a motion, you and the bank, motion for summary judgment. Right? Motion for summary judgment. what the motion for summary judgment is saying that based off of all the evidence and documentation that you collected during discovery, you want them to be able to take all your evidence and give you a judgment based off that. Right? Now, both parties have to file a motion for summary judgment. Right? And then once each party makes it through the motion for summary judgment, then you have trial. Okay? Now, let me show you how you have all the power. Because you don't force the bank to go through this entire process because you filed this answer. This one answer. Force them to have to go through all of this. Now let's break it down. 30 days, they may have 20 days to respond to your answer. Right? It may take, 20 days for your, or let's say 30 days. It may take 30 days for your case management conference to be scheduled. Right? Then you have the scheduling order after that, and then you have discovery. Now, this is important. Discovery can take anywhere between 6 months to 1 year. So how much time you have to try to gather your evidence. Okay? This is what the banks don't want you to get to. They don't want you to get to this point. Because now, that's even longer for them to be able to foreclose on your home. Right? So after discovery, you have a deadline to file a motion for summary judgment. Once you file a motion for summary judgment, you got 30 days to file an answer to it. You got 30 days to file an answer to the motion for summary judgment. Both parties, right? And then once both parties present their arguments and the court feel like there's a genuine issue that needs to be resolved, they go ahead and they go send you to trial. Now, you gotta realize that once you file the answer, it could take 10 days, 20 days, 30 days for the judge to even put in an order for the motion for summary judgments, right? So, they put in the order, and they're forcing y'all to go to trial. Trial could be another month, another 30 days. Because you have, pre-trial conferences, you have pre-trial memorandums that got to be filed, you got to submit evidence. There's so much that gets done during this process that gives you more time. But let's look at it. The first way I showed you, when a person does nothing, the person is being put out their house in 4 to 6 months. But once you file an answer to the complaint, now you don't brought yourself at least a year and some change. So now, as you going through the foreclosure process, guess what you're going to be doing every month? You're going to be saving your money. Right? You're not going to be paying $1,000 to an attorney. Right? You're not going to be paying $1,000 to an attorney and trying to bring your mortgage payments up to current all at the same time and being depleted of finances. Right? So let's just say you got 10 months to a year guaranteed, because they can't do anything until they get this judgment here. They can't do nothing. They can't get a quick order or nothing, unlike a default judgment. So now you got 10 months to a year, right? I hope everybody gets a chance to write this, because I want to break this down to you.
You had mad space, by the way.
Huh?
You had mad space. I should have told you.
Yeah. So let's break this down. If you're in a position to save $1,500, right, a month for 10 to 12 months, that puts you in a position to save $15,000 to $18,000 after going through that complete process. How different would your life be if you was guaranteed not to lose your home or to be homeless or be put out on the streets for 10 to 12 months and be able to save $15,000 to $18,000 along the way? Think about how your life will drastically change, right? Because when they get a default judgment, when a bank gets a default judgment and they expedite the process to put you out, you ain't got no savings, you ain't got nowhere to go, and you got bad credit, so nobody really is going to approve you for a new place. But guess what? With our process, not only are you guaranteed time, but along with that time, you're able to save $15,000 to $18,000. And at Divergent Consumer Services, we also have the methods and techniques and expertise to help you improve your credit while you go through the process. And that's something that a homeowner's foreclosure program is not going to be able to provide to you. And that's also with an attorney is not going to give you. An attorney is just going to walk you through the foreclosure process to collect your money. That's it. They're not going to help you build the savings, nor are they going to help you improve your credit along the way. But here at Divergent Consumer Services, you're guaranteed that. Now, not only are you guaranteed that, if you're one of our clients, we take the guessing work out of it, right? We know the rules of civil procedures. We know not only the state rules of civil procedure, but every individual court has their own local court rules of civil procedure that you also gotta, comply with. So, this is something that can be done on your own, but it's a lot that's involved that's going to require you to do hours of reading, hours of studying, hours of drafting up documents. Unlike working with us, we streamline this for you, right? We process the documents. We coach you on your arguments. We coach you every step of the way. And when I mean that we know what's going to happen before it happens, we know what happens before it happens. Like my guy Pete said, don't panic, plan it. And what we do is we lay out the plan and the blueprint to help you do just that. So if you're in a mortgage foreclosure and you don't know your next best step, or if you know somebody that's in a mortgage foreclosure and can use some assistance and some help, click the link under this video or click the link in the bio, schedule a consultation, and we'll be glad to assist you and change your life for the remainder of your life. Peace.
Peace.